Most men think they understand what attraction looks like. A smile, a compliment, maybe someone saying they enjoy your company. But in reality, most attraction is communicated in ways that never involve words at all. And the surprising truth is that men often miss these signals completely. In fact, many men walk away from interactions believing nothing special happened, while the woman they were talking to believed she was being obvious. By the end of this video, you're going to see 5 subtle signals women give when they're genuinely attracted to someone. And once you recognize them, you'll start noticing them everywhere. Now, some of these signals might sound familiar at first, but the 4th one is where things become interesting, because it's the signal most men misinterpret entirely. In many situations, it actually looks like the opposite of attraction. And that misunderstanding alone causes a lot of missed opportunities. Before we dive into the signals themselves, it helps to understand one key idea about female psychology. Women rarely communicate attraction directly, especially early on. There's a psychological reason for this. Expressing attraction openly carries emotional risk. If the interest isn't returned, it can feel uncomfortable or even embarrassing. Because of that, attraction often shows up indirectly through behavior, tone, and body language. Psychologists sometimes call this deniable signaling. It allows someone to show interest in a way that can still be explained as friendliness if things don't go the way they hoped. The result is that many men miss what's really happening, simply because they're expecting the signal to be obvious. The first signal is when she finds reasons to keep the conversation going. This is one of the most reliable indicators of interest, yet it's often overlooked. When someone enjoys your company, they naturally want the interaction to continue. A woman who's attracted to you may ask another question right when the conversation seems like it's ending. She might bring up a new topic just as you're about to leave. Sometimes she'll even pause you with something like, "Wait, one more thing," which turns into another 10 minutes of talking. Imagine you're at a social event and you say you need to head out. Someone who isn't particularly interested will simply smile and say it was nice talking. But someone who wants the interaction to continue suddenly remembers another question they wanted to ask. That small moment often reveals more than the words themselves. The second signal involves something psychologists call mirroring. Mirroring happens when someone unconsciously matches your behavior or body language. If you lean forward while speaking, she may lean forward as well. If you slow your tone of voice, her tone may gradually match yours. Even laughter can mirror. She might laugh a moment after you do, almost instinctively. This happens because the brain naturally synchronizes with people we feel comfortable around. It's part of how humans build connection. The interesting part is that people rarely realize they're doing it. But once you start paying attention, you'll notice that 2 people who feel aligned often move and react in very similar ways. Now, those first 2 signals are relatively well known, but the next one is where things become much more subtle and much more revealing. The third signal is when she remembers small details about you. You might casually mention your dog's name during a conversation weeks earlier. Later, she asks how the dog is doing. Or maybe you mentioned a restaurant you've been wanting to try and she brings it up again the next time you talk. These details might seem minor, but they reveal something important. Human memory prioritizes what feels meaningful. When someone remembers specific details about your life, it often means those conversations stayed in her mind long after they ended. People rarely hold on to those details about someone they feel indifferent toward. Now here's the signal that confuses many men the most. The 4th signal is when she challenges you in conversation. At first glance, this can look like disagreement or even conflict. She might question your opinion, tease you about something you said, or playfully argue about a topic you brought up. Many men interpret this as a sign that she's not interested. But psychologically, the opposite can often be true. Challenging someone requires engagement. People don't invest energy debating someone they don't care about. When a woman playfully pushes back, she's often exploring how you think and how you respond under pressure. She's curious about your perspective. The key difference here is tone. Playful teasing and light debate usually carry a sense of energy and curiosity, not hostility. If she's smiling while challenging your opinion, that interaction often signals a deeper level of interest rather than rejection. The 5th signal is something you'll start noticing once you pay attention to patterns. When a woman is interested in someone, she tends to position herself in his awareness more often. She may appear in places where she knows he'll be. In a group conversation, she may orient herself in his direction, or direct certain comments specifically toward him. Sometimes it's even as subtle as a glance across the room, or a moment where she draws him into the conversation when there was no practical reason to do so. Psychologists refer to this as proximity-seeking behavior. Humans naturally move closer, socially and physically, to people they're drawn to. And often, this happens without conscious planning. When you step back and look at these signals together, a larger pattern becomes clear. Attraction rarely arrives as a loud announcement. Instead, it appears through small decisions and quiet behaviors. Extending conversations, remembering details, engaging in playful challenges, and creating moments of visibility. Many men are waiting for attraction to be expressed in a way that cannot be misunderstood. But the reality is that attraction often exists in the space between words. The men who recognize these signals aren't necessarily more confident or more experienced than anyone else. They're simply more attentive. They've learned to notice the subtle shifts in behavior that reveal genuine interest. If you found these insights useful, consider subscribing to the channel. Each week, we explore the psychology of attraction, communication, and human behavior in ways that help you understand the dynamics happening beneath everyday conversations. And if there's a topic related to relationships or psychology you'd like to see covered in a future video, let us know in the comments. We'll see you in the next video.